From Minute Maid Park in Houston, Texas, Root Sports brings you Houston Astros baseball. Today it's the finale of the homestand, and the first-place Astros take on the Arizona Diamondbacks in interleague play. Good afternoon, Bill Brown and Alan Ashby, along with Julia Morales, to see who wins this series. The Arizona club took the opener. The Astros bounced back with a big home run night last night. Ash, it's been quite a week. The Astros were one game behind the Angels when Tuesday night's series started. They swept them, and now they have a 3-game lead.
Yeah, to have the Angels come in, take 3 straight from them, that was obviously big. And the Astros just keep playing good baseball at home, Brownie. Bottom line, the Astros have not given up ground here while playing in Houston.
We look at our Toyota drive to the playoffs to bring you up to date on how things stand in the AL West and in the wild card races. The Astros with a 3-game lead over the Angels. They'll be playing the Rangers Monday through Wednesday night. The Rangers are 8 back.
All games become big this time of the year, obviously, and you go into Texas against the Rangers, that new rivalry maybe between the two ball clubs. So it should be fun up there in Arlington. Of course, you see the wild card. The Angels with the Astros in first place. The Angels have the edge in that sense, but keep your eyes on those Toronto Blue Jays as they've loaded up.
Well, the home run bats have really been booming for the Astros here the last few games. Again last night, they had 4 long balls in that game, and the fans have been gaping at these monstrous shots here on this homestand.
One of those long balls, a grand slam by Hank Conger. Conger with a pair of bombs last night, and of course Carlos Correa. But Correa got it going against the Angels and C.J. Wilson. And Correa's hit 4 home runs on this homestand. You see Preston Tucker getting in the act along with Chris Carter. And Jason Castro had back-to-back nights, one of those a game winner. Hank Conger last night, 2 home runs, won the grand slam, and that was huge for the Astros, opening up the lead and eventually the Astros laying it on the opposition, Arizona, last night. But it has been quite a barrage, 11 dingers in 5 games, and they continue to be led by that long ball.
Coming up, Crush City Sunday. The Astros' homer happy ways have given Houston a new nickname and a new swagger as the season gets serious. Can Crush City live up to the hype for one final game on the homestand? We'll find out in just minutes. Texas is presented by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Visit us at geico.com or call 1-800-947-AUTO. And by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Coming up, feeling sexy. Day 2 of the Carlos Gomez era took a backseat to home run hysteria and the party that is Club Astros. Did the flashy center fielder shine the second time around? Julia tells us when we come back.
How did the dugout feel after that?
First off, I gotta call you out. I've never had a post-game interview with you, so I guess it must take a grand slam to get with you.
We haven't gotten to the grand slam.
No, I'm kidding.
Hank Conger in his first walk-off post-game interview. Thank you so much.
Yes, post-game interview, first one.
And his first grand slam. We'll send it back over to you.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss
Welcome you back as the
Mackenzie
national
Walker.
anthem wraps up here on the field at Minute Maid Park. Astros Diamondbacks get ready for the series finale. What a big night for Hank Conger and the Houston Astros as they took a big win over the D-backs last night. It was a big night for several Astros, though, offensively. We also saw Carlos Correa come up big. And then Carlos Gomez having a big night, something he may have needed after starting his career as a Houston Astro 0 for 7. You could feel the pressure mounting on him a little bit, frustration in the dugout after those first few at-bats. But last night in the fourth, getting a double to get the monkey off the back, get that first hit out of the way. You could see how excited he was after reaching second. Right here, you can feel the enthusiasm. Excited to help his teammates out as well, though. That wasn't the only hit he got. He had a 3-hit night. That was his third 3-hit night of the season. Like I said, little relief for the outfielder. Might have been pressing a bit, but looked good last night. The team, of course, was hitting around him. He got to play a part in Club Astros for the very first time. Said, can't believe there's a disco in here. So having fun with his brand new team. And A.J. Hinch is putting Gomez second in the lineup, up towards the top, because he told us this today that he really liked when George Springer was up there with Jose Altuve, Carlos Correa, like the dynamic up there with that energetic player. Well, that's what Carlos Gomez is without Springer. With his speed and a little bit of power, he could make some things happen up there at the top. Of course, if Jose Altuve's on, maybe if they're pitching him carefully, we could see some breaking balls Jose Altuve could steal, and then guys that can really drive in runs behind him. And for more on that, I'm going to send it up to the guys in booth, Brownie and Ash.
Well, it is something interesting to see after trades bring different players to the lineup, Ash, and it's working.
Very strong roster right now. You get the feeling, even though the Astros played well early on in the season and really put themselves in the position they are now, it's now a ball club that's gotten stronger, and some of the additions Julia's talking about, Carlos Gomez now in center field, and the way the guys have been pitching, it just feels like a ball club that believes and feels like their destiny is to win this division this year.
They're 4-1 on this homestand. Colin McHugh 12-5 for the season with a 4.43 ERA. 6-2 in his last 8 starts with a 3.44.
Collins made just one career start against Arizona. Got roughed up in that one. He's 0-1 lifetime, so certainly trying to forget that effort.
And going to work now on the leadoff man, Ender Inciarte. Moving him back from the plate with ball 1. Inciarte at .294 has 3 homers, 27 runs batted in, and a .390 slugging percentage. Jed Lowry's in on the grass. Gonzalez even with the bag at first. And that one goes foul. We take a look at the starting lineup now for the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's Inciarte, Yasmani Tomas, Paul Goldschmidt, David Peralta, Wellington Castillo, Jake Lamb, Aaron Hill, Cliff Pennington, Nick Ahmed. And the pitcher is left-hander Robbie Ray. Showing bunt. Inciarte looks at it. Dale Scott rings it up as strike 2. That makes it 1-2 for Colin McHugh. Inciarte has hit .327 his last 11 games. 1 for 8 with an RBI in this series. And taps the curveball foul. You mentioned McHugh has not beaten this Arizona club. Colin, 28 years old now. Last year an 11-game winner. Ash, this year already he's won 12 for his best major league season, so he's really established himself in this rotation. He'll beat a lot of clubs the way he's pitched last year in this.
He's won 3 straight, beating Texas, Boston, and the Angels.
And at home, all 3 of those games were wins for him at home, 8-2, despite a 5.22 ERA.
Yeah, part of that roughed up ERA comes from the last outing, beating the Angels. That was part of that 10-5 Houston win in game 1 of the 3-game set, but 5 earnings over 5 innings, also walked 4.
Fly ball goes to left field. Evan Gattis moves over. And there's out number 1.
Defensively for the Astros this afternoon, Evan Gattis gets the start in left field. Carlos Gomez in center. He's a fixture now. Jake Marisnick a start in right field. Left side of the infield, Jed Lowry and Carlos Correa on the right. Jose Altuve and Marwin Gonzalez, Jason Castro back behind the dish.
The Astros have been on a fabulous run, 37-18 at home. They've won 13 of their last 15 here at Minute Maid Park. Here's Yasmani Tomas, .299, 6 homers, 39 runs batted in. Ground ball, McHugh. Over to Marwin Gonzalez, 2 outs. And Paul Goldschmidt will be coming up next. Goldschmidt leads the league in the National League in batting average at .346. And the young man who played for the Woodlands in high school just really has blazed a strong trail as a National League player. One of the very best players in baseball. He's DHing today. He's driven in 77 runs. And as you can see, he is leading the NL in on-base average, .462. Strike to Goldschmidt. Astros pitchers have done a good job of facing him without anybody on base for the most part in this series. He whacks one high to left center field. Moving over for it, Gomez for out number 3. That's a quick 9-pitch first for Colin McHugh. Southwest Airlines. Jose Altuve leads off. He's at second base. Newcomer Carlos Gomez is in center field, followed by Carlos Correa, the shortstop. Evan Gattis in left field. Jed Lowry at third base. Marwin Gonzalez at first. Chris Carter, the DH. Jason Castro, the catcher. Jake Marisnick in right field.
On the mound for the Diamondbacks, 23-year-old left-hander Robbie Ray made his major league debut last year against the Astros, working 5 1/3 in that one and struck out 5. Just his second year in the major leagues now. Pitched last year with the Tigers. .270 ERA this year in 11 starts.
He came from Detroit to Arizona last December in a 3-team deal involving the Yankees. Jose Altuve gets all set to go with a .297 batting average, a .341 on base percentage. He has hit .353 against southpaws. And he's swinging and fouling on the first pitch. Strike one for Robbie Ray. Well, that ERA you told us about for Robbie Ray might have gotten some attention. 2.70 for his first 11 starts with the D-backs.
Doesn't walk many. Less than 2.5 per 9 innings. Strikes out almost 8 per 9.
1 ball, 1 strike, and in that major league debut, it was in Detroit last May 6th. He won it with 5 1/3 innings, a 5-hit 1-run baseball. Altuve out to center field. And Ciarte. There's 1 out.
Defensively this afternoon for the Diamondbacks in the outfield, left to right, David Peralta, Ender Inciarte, and Yasmani Tomas. On the left side of the infield, Aaron Hill and Nick Ahmed. On the right, it's Cliff Pennington and Jake Lamb. Wellington Castillo is behind the plate.
In air-conditioned comfort, this series is tied 1-1. The Astros have not lost a series at home since the end of May when the White Sox won 2 of 3 here. .264 for Gomez this season. Combined service in the major leagues. As an Astro, he's 3 for 10. And it's ball 1. As Julia mentioned, He got on the board last night with 3 hits after going 0 for 5 in his first game with Houston. It's 2-0. He has played quite a bit against this Arizona club this season. With a .243 average against the D-backs. 1 homer, 2 runs batted in. That's called a strike by Dale Scott. That makes it 2-1. For Robbie Ray, who's 23 years old, from Brentwood, Tennessee. 12th round pick in Washington in 2010. That's called a strike. Wow.
Wow is right.
2-2. Get ready to swing the bats, fellas.
A couple of pitches that appear to be off the outside edge. You could even see the pullback by the catcher. That should tip off that the pitch is away.
Yeah, they're out there. And a strikeout. 2 down. All right. So you don't have to throw the ball over the plate today.
Yeah, you know, somebody's going to say, well, don't swing at that pitch way up there. But you start feeling like you've got to have more coverage than you should have to have.
Hitters are on alert. Carlos Correa on a 6-game hitting streak. At .299, has 12 homers, 32 runs batted in, 360 since the break, 5 bombs. He has gone where no major league shortstop has tread since 1914. No shortstop has hit 12 homers in his first 46 major league games in that span of time. There's ball 1. 2 more homers last night. 3 in the series. Oh, when you think of all the good hitting shortstops down through history, Ernie Banks didn't do it, Cal Ripken, and so on down the line. He is number 1 since 1914 with 12 homers in 46 games. Second in slugging percentage, 4th in runs batted in.
What more do you want? Oh, a little spectacular defense. He's done that too.
A-Rod. Derek Jeter, of course, not really a home run hitter, but there you see most runs batted in now as a shortstop through 46. Leo Norris, never heard of him. Ernie Banks, Glenn Wright. We're going way back. That's on through into right field, and that's a 7-game hitting streak for Carlos Correa.
And it's that stroke that I think ultimately makes him a 300-plus hitter at some point. I don't know if that comes this year. He's over that mark for the moment, but he can stay on the baseball and hit it the other way with the best of them. A look now at our strike zone presented by MD Anderson, and watch Carlos Correa just stay on the pitch. People talk about letting it get deep. That's what this is. And then hitting it with authority. Not a lot of guys can do that.
Excellent point. Another 2-strike hit to the opposite field. He's hit 2 bombs to right field this homestand. He's on for Evan Gattis with 16 homers, 58 runs batted in. 247 his average, 277 at home for Evan. This club has hit much better at home than on the road. And it's reflective, in fact, has pitched better at home than on the road. There's a big difference in the records. There's that swing to right field.
You get a glimpse of how deep the ball gets to Carlos Correa there as he strokes it into right field. But keep in mind, this is not your Judy hitter that's just flipping balls that way. He's driving it out of the yard.
Gattis looks at it, and it's 2-0. Correa's on-base average was at .345 before that hit. .571 slugging percentage. Gattis is 2 for 6 in this series. The toss goes over to first. Correa is 5 for 6 in base stealing. Catcher Castillo has thrown out 2 of 12 this season. Bouncer right side, out in right field. Here's the play by Pennington, and he makes it very well for out number 3. No runs, a hit, and a man stranded. No score after 1.
Home game is Dollar Hot Dog Wednesday, presented by Nolan Ryan Beef. The next Dollar Dog Wednesday is Wednesday the 19th. My goodness, that's far away, when the Astros take on the Rays. For more information, visit astros.com/dollardogs or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. These Astros about to get on the road for a while.
Long trip, Julia. Your bags are packed with many, many clothes and lots of shoes.
And lots of jackets for a very cool San Francisco trip.
Yeah. Uh-oh. You know what that means. San Francisco, expensive place. David Peralta, 282, 9 homers, 48 runs batted in for Peralta. That is strike one.
I just might have to start fitting into some of Julia's jackets here coming up soon.
Good luck with that, pal. That is not happening. Peralta got 3 hits Friday night. He bangs that one off his leg, and it's 0-2. Hey, Hank Conger's a fun guy, Julia. You found out more about him last night in that interview.
I actually knew that was coming.
Oh, did you?
Talking to every interview I do with Hank Conger is entertaining. He's a great guy, really funny. But I just felt that one coming. I even tweeted before the game. I was like, you might want to stay tuned. And sure enough, he called me out. I wasn't expecting that, but it's cool.
Well, you built all that rapport with these guys. They feel comfortable. There's a ground ball foul. Are you allowed in Club Astros, though? You're not allowed in there, right?
No. That's very exclusive.
What's that all about? Tell us about that.
Lots of lights, lots of fog, and loud music. It's wild in there, I hear.
Sounds like our neighborhood, Ash.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
About 7 o'clock at night, it's like. Still 0-2.
What is it? Nobody under 55 in your section?
That's about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they are having a wonderful time, and they have a 3-game lead. Right in for a strike, and that'll take care of out number 1. First strikeout for Colin McHugh.
Let's take a look at our Super Mo presented by Mattress Firm. That little cutter, you can see a bit of the slider spin, kind of a large circle on the back. And he just brings what looks like a fastball right back to the outside corner.
Wellington Castillo, 253, 11 homers, 25 runs batted in, has really been bashing the ball. He's had a big home run week. And he connected here Friday night in the 10th inning as Arizona won the game 6-4 after having a 2-home run game earlier in the week against Seattle's King Felix Hernandez. In 8 interleague games, he's hit 6 homers. Last 3 games, Castillo has been a man on a mission. 1 ball, 1 strike for Colin McHugh. Colin would love to join his teammate Dallas Keuchel with win number 13 of the year. That's what Dallas did last night in beating Arizona 9-2. Two and two.
The previous pitch, sinking fastball, looked like a 2-seamer, and it was called a ball. But watch where that crossed the front of the plate. Can really be deceiving depending on the movement.
That's hit fair inside the left field line, and it goes into the corner. Castillo heads for second base. First base runner for Arizona. Double number 11 for Castillo.
Change that count around from 1-2 to, in this case, 2-1, and it changes everything. This little cutter just stays through the heart of the plate. The very same thing, little tighter spin on the backside. That's a pretty handy pitch to be able to drill.
Jake Lamb in his first start as a first baseman begins the day at 274. He has 3 homers, 23 runs batted in, a 305 road batting average. Arizona's Chase Field, a very good ballpark for hitters. Others have been better for him. He takes, and there's strike 1 to Lamb. Lamb has a hit, and that was a home run in Friday night's game 1 for 6 in this series. He's driven in 5 in his last 6 games. He was on the DL with left foot stress reaction. Line drive, right field corner. That makes it 1-0 Arizona. Coming over, Marisnick unable to stop it. Lamb into second base. RBI double. That's his 24th run batted in, and double number 8. 1-0 D-backs.
Again, that little cut job trying to come in on the hands, not quite enough for Jake Lamb. Watch him just kind of cut it off on the inside, that lead elbow kind of tucking to the body. It's kind of what the guys would, I would imagine, call a cutoff swing there, but got the barrel directly to it.
Aaron Hill at .218 with 4 homers has 24 runs batted in, about a .350 career average against Houston. He was 1 for 4 last night. And strike 1 to Hill. Hill is a 2-time Silver Slugger winner. In 2009 with Toronto and in 2012 with Arizona. He won that award. He went for it. It's 0-2. After the game, the Astros head for Arlington, Texas. And 100-degree temperatures the next 3 days, perhaps.
Bring your coat, Julia.
Yep. Got to have that hooded parka for this trip.
I have several coats.
Do you have a warm?
It's going to be freezing.
Well, it will be freezing in San Francisco when you're there.
Compared to what we've got here.
Yeah. You go from 100 to what, 60 out there, something like that.
I think the highs are in the 60s.
Okay.
But you know how cold it gets at night.
Yikes. Yeah. Now, as you're doing your menu planning, is a boomstick on your menu for the Arlington stop?
You know, I need to check to see if they still sell those. That's a Nelson Cruz thing.
I think they sold out, didn't they?
They might have something else we need to look into.
They might have something named for Cole Hamels by now.
Ooh, that's a good point.
Line shot right field. Marisnick charging in, diving. Whoa! Jake Marisnick, beautiful play.
This guy can really play some outfield. We've watched him dazzle in center field, but instantaneous break on this line drive. He is coming. And that line drive right at you is the toughest one. Love watching Jake Marisnick play the outfield. Boy, he's got the bead on it, and you can see he didn't let his head move at all as he went into that dive.
His body control was phenomenal. The way he got down low with his legs, and then took off toward the infield. In that horizontal position, he really pursued that line drive.
Look, there are a lot of really good major league outfielders, no question about it. I haven't seen one that I would say is better than Jake Marisnick.
That's a big out. Out number 2. Cliff Pennington, the batter. 234, 1 homer, 10 runs batted in for the switch inning. Pennington. He made that good play to get Evan Gattis last inning. Grounded foul, there's strike 1. A play like that one by Marisnick can really be a rally snuffer.
Now, may I say, carrying on with that conversation, George Springer is in that very same conversation. And George has been the best right fielder I've watched for the last couple of years. But you move Jake Marisnick around or George around, they'll be among the best anywhere they're positioned.
No balls, 2 strikes. As Julia mentioned, A.J. Hinch said in his meeting with Carlos Gomez, Carlos said he would play any position that hit anywhere in the lineup. George Springer hoping to be back later this month. Meanwhile, Gomez goes after him in center field. That's not to say Marisnick won't play some center, though. It's 1-2 to Pennington with Ahmed on deck. This Arizona club is second in runs scored in the National League, 451. 4th in total bases. There's a lot of talent. And Gomez and the right fielder Marisnick. Colby Rasmus, a former center fielder, Springer. So the Astros can get tremendous coverage from these outfielders.
You know, and you bring up Colby. He's got one of the best reputations as a center fielder anywhere in the game. And he's shown us that, playing right field, playing left, all over the place. And you, of course, talk about Carlos Gomez, and rightly so. People that have watched him for years say he can go get it with anybody.
Outside, and it's a full count to Pennington. Well, in a pennant race, defensive play down through the years has shown itself to be of utmost importance for many teams.
It's about your pitching. You make great plays defensively, and your pitching will come out much better.
That's ball 4. The fans dismayed by the call by Dale Scott. 2 men on, 2 outs for Nick Ahmed.
A lot of cutters early for Colin McHugh. Tries to backdoor one, just leaves it a fraction away. See how he imparts that little spiral spin. Castro tries to bring it back with the catch and stick it.
Pennington walked. Now Ahmed 0 for 9 in this series. 218 for the season. 6 homers, 25 runs batted in. Very good glove man at shortstop. Curveball. Strike. Last night, Dallas Keuchel, as Colin McHugh has done today, had a 1-2-3 very quick first inning. Gave up 2 in the second. Arizona did not get a hit after that for the final 7 innings of the game, and lost on 2 hits, 9-2. 0-2.
Well, that 4-seamer looks really quick coming in after that slow curveball.
Yeah. So just wondering if he might be doing what Dallas did last night and making that adjustment on the fly to show these hitters something different.
Great adjustment last night that you bring up on Dallas. Started throwing that breaking ball. It changed everything.
Pick off at second. Correa with a tag. They got him. Jake Lamb is picked off on that daylight play. Correa cutting for the base. And then the spin and the throw by McHugh on a pickoff from 1 to 6. Very well coordinated. And a quick glove on the tag.
Weekend. That's presented by Houston Methodist. August 14th and 15th as we celebrate the 10th anniversary of the 2005 NLCS championship team. Weekend highlights include a 2005 NLCS t-shirt giveaway and commemorative World Series tumbler giveaway, each to 10,000 fans, and a special pregame ceremony. For more information, visit Astros.com/Legends Weekend or call 1-877 9 Astros.
Jed Lowry takes, and there's strike one. Different looking view there.
Yeah.
Looking down. Lowry, the switch hitter, was off to a good start as a right-handed batter in April when he got hurt. The injured right thumb requiring surgery. 284 for the season. 4 homers, 10 runs batted in. As a right-handed batter, he's 9 for 19 with 3 homers. That one drives him back. It's 2-1. Actually, left-handed hitters are hitting 30 points higher against Robbie Ray than right-handed batters. It's a good look down on the field.
Gorgeous yard.
That's going to get high to left field and up against the wall and dropped by Peralta. Lowry gets a double. Peralta unable to hold it despite a very fine attempt. Double number 5 for Lowry.
Early in the season, that right side of the plate was the power side for Jed Lowry. Keeps his head down, eyes on the baseball as he drives it on the line. The question is, was this in the glove? Was it off the wall and sticking against the glove on the backside? I can't tell. Yeah, it was in the glove.
Sure
and
was.
then he highlighted right out of there.
Yep. Right out of the cesta. And it is a 2-base hit. Marwin Gonzalez is on a 3-game hitting streak. Backing away now. Marwin has a .270 average, 7 homers, 22 runs batted in for Margot. 2 for 4 in this series. Had a pair of singles and a run scored Friday night. He bunts. Ray over, barehanding, throwing, and getting him. Lowry to third. Nice sacrifice. 1 out.
Second nice recent bunt dropped down by Marwin Gonzalez. The other is a left-hand hitter, and he got a base hit out of that one. If you can drop down some nice bunts, you'll get some hits, and in the process always move those runners. Just back spins that golf ball on the green. Not quite enough to draw it back.
Runner at third now for Chris Carter with 1 out. Carter at 182 has 17 homers, 46 runs batted in. And it's strike 1 for Ray. Carter had the only RBI against Ray in Detroit when Ray beat the Astros in his major league debut. 10 out of 22 and delivering that runner from third with less than 2 outs. The corner infielders can make a play at the plate. Middle infielders are playing it about halfway. So if the ball were to be hit sharply right at one of them, they could come home and get Lowry. 1-1. What would you call this positioning? They're not playing back where they would normally be on Carter with nobody on, but sort of a halfway alignment for the shortstop and second sacker. Right?
Yeah, and it's where you make a judgment on the speed of the runner at third base. Can you come home on a sharply hit ground ball? And from that positioning, you likely can at short and second.
2-2.
I like the option. Now, if the ground ball's hit slowly, you probably lose the shot at the plate that you would otherwise have on an infield drawn all the way in.
Carter had a bases loaded walk last night, going 0 for 3. That one goes foul. He stays in there with a 2-strike swing.
Don't know if Carter was guessing breaking ball right there, but he was quite tardy on the fastball.
Yep. Jason Castro's on deck. Carter puts it in the air, foul territory for the pop-up. Jake Lamb will not get to it. So, once again, he will force a delivery with 2 strikes by Robbie Ray. The early going, it's the Blue Jays 2, the Royals nothing. They're in the bottom of the 5th in Toronto.
See on the pitch strike, the strike zone there, Brownie, nothing in the strike zone yet for Carter to deal with.
That's in the air, foul again. Pretty good battle here. Well, with some of those ball and strike calls earlier in the game, Astros hitters, and word gets around very quickly that they need to protect that area just off the plate on the outside corner from Robbie Ray. This will be the 8th pitch to Carter. That's a shot to center field. Lowry will wait for the catch play. Ciarte and waltz home. Great at bat for Carter to tie it at 1. Fouling off pitches and then getting one he could drive to center for his 47th run batted in.
Well, that was the only legitimate strike of that entire series of pitches. And Carter was all over it. Much better swing than we've been seeing a lot of the time. Four-seam fastball. Finds the center of the plate and the center of the bat. Maybe a little in on the label.
Leadoff double, sacrifice bunt, sacrifice fly, sacrificial inning, and that ties it. Jason Castro, 216. 2 homers on the homestand. They've both been 3-run shots. He's on a 5-game hitting streak right now. Hank Conger hit 2 home runs last night. Astros catchers have 4 in the last 3 games. We had to go to the record books last night because Conger was batting 9th, had 2 homers, 5 runs batted in. When has an Astros number 9 hitter had a better year than that? 1966, pitcher Dave Justy drove in 6. There's a shot up the right field line. Castro would take a turn, head for second. It's deep in the corner for Tomas. He's going to now hold on, although he couldn't have made third base. And it is a double for Castro. Tomas having problems in the right field corner with that ball. 13th double for Castro.
You know, it's an interesting start today for Jason Castro against the left-hander, but he takes full advantage right here. And that bat is getting a lot quicker here in the last few ball games for Castro. He said, "Get out of my kitchen." There's that rule that says you don't make the final out of an inning at third base, and Jason apparently had that on his mind.
Jake Marisnick will try to drive him in. And Conger had the huge night last night. Now Castro. His 2 catchers have had big numbers on this homestand. Marisnick. And strike 1 to Jake. At 235, he has 5 homers, 21 runs batted in for Jake. Of the 5 hits in this game, 4 have been doubles. 1-1. Marisnick fouls it away, 1-2. Jake, of course, has been outstanding in center field, but does not bother him at all to move to one of the other outfield spots, and his defensive value to the team is really high. This is his first start in right field this year. Marisnick's down on strikes. The Astros tied with a run on 2 hits and leave a man. It's 1-1.
potential 2015 postseason run by reserving your 2016 season tickets today. Visit Astros.com/season tickets or call 1-877-9-ASTROS. A 12-5 record says one thing, but when you dig a little bit deeper into Colin McHugh's outings, they haven't really been easy this season. He's really had to work his way out of some tough outings, some tough innings, and with the help of some run support, things have really worked out for Colin. We talked a lot about mental toughness yesterday as he prepared for this start and just how much he's needed that this year, and really coming down to staying aggressive on the mound, not backing away from hitters. It can be hard, but you got to keep going at him, and that's where he's found some of the success. Also, Brent Strom with some really timely mound visits, guys. He calls Stromy a magician out there.
First pitch strikes, 8 of them so far to the first 9 batters. Nick Ahmed was at the plate when the pickoff erased Lamb from second base to end the top of the second inning. He gets a fresh count with that .218 batting average. It's a break for him because he was at 0-2 in the count when that pickoff happened. There's strike 1. You mentioned run support, Julia. The run support average for Colin McHugh is 5.80 per start. That's the best among the current rotation. Rolled out to Carlos Correa. 1 out. But, you know, people use that as a negative quite often, Ash. Look back at the 20-win seasons, and generally those guys are the ones who get very good run support.
Yeah, I think that's true. Not many guys are just going to breeze through and have a great start every time and have a dazzling sub-2 ERA. But Colin he's a battler. He's grittier than a lot of people might have guessed early on.
When he starts, the Astros record is 14-7. Ender Inciarte is the left fielder. It is the center fielder who hit a fly ball to left field first time up. And trying to bunt his way on. There's strike 1. But Colin last time, as we mentioned, gave up 7 hits and 5 runs in 5 innings, and he won that one 10-5. He's won by scores of 13-3 and 11-4 along the way. Gaddis in left takes care of out number 2. Sometimes the players kind of get a feel for a starting pitcher who's in that spot in the rotation, as they say, to get the run support, and they feel like it's their lucky day every time he goes to the mound.
Trying to reflect back through that in playing days, and there were guys that you said, we're going to score some runs today. So-and-so's on the hill.
Who would that have been for you?
Wow. Well, it wasn't Nolan Ryan in 1987, I guess it was, when he won that ERA crown and just couldn't pick up a win.
He was 8-16 with an ERA of under 3. McHugh tosses out Yasmani Tomas on a 5-pitch third inning. It's 1-1 with the Astros going to the top of the order. Altuve, Gomez, Correa for the bottom of the third.
is one of the best ballpark bargains available for select Monday through Thursday regular season games. This offer scores you a ticket, hot dog, soda, and popcorn, all for just $16. To purchase tickets, visit Astros.com/Coke value or call 1-877-9-ASTROS.
One game with Jose Altuve leading it off. Last of the third inning. He hit a fly ball to center in the first. Way outside for ball one. Why in the world are the Rangers playing a day game today?
Just to test their true grit.
They used to play Sunday night games. Line shot into right center field. In for a hit. Inciarte comes over. Altuve's aboard with the leadoff single.
There's a stroke for Jose Altuve that at times has gotten away from him this year. That's a terrific job lining this up and away pitch the other way. See with the body there how well he stays through the baseball.
He's aboard for Carlos Gomez, a strikeout victim in the first. Altuve has 27 steals to lead the American League. He's been caught 9 times. That also is tops in the American League. Strike one to Carlos Gomez. Well, anyway, the Rangers are playing a day game today at home. And they'll be playing the Astros tomorrow night. Lance McCullers against Colby Lewis tomorrow night in the battle for the Silver Boot and more.
There's more?
There's a lot more than the Silver Boot this year. Fly ball right field, back toward the corner. Tomas, he's at the wall and makes the catch on the warning track. Altuve back to first base on out number 1.
No surprise here, our TXU Energy power player is Carlos Correa. Last night, a couple of bombs for Correa. 4 home runs on the homestand, driving them the other way. And he can turn and pull them too, but Carlos Correa setting records for shortstops that go way back. Over 100 years now, Carlos Correa has been some kind of addition to this club.
Had a 2-strike single in the first inning. Outside for ball 1 to Carlos. That was his first multi-home run game of his career last night with the 2 homers. He is the youngest position player in the majors. He leads American League shortstops in homers. Snap throw to first. Altuve back. So McCullers and Lewis tomorrow night as the Astros and Rangers square off. Texas is trailing by 8. It's the Correa total of 12 compared to Jeff Blum, Ernie Banks, and Nomar Garciaparra with 8 at shortstop through their first 46.
Did you get a photo of that graphic?
No.
You've got to do that and send it off to Blummer.
Because we know he can't possibly be watching, right?
Well, it's still just for the memory.
It's early in the morning, his time. Way outside, 2-1. You think he remembers that?
That he sat alongside Ernie Banks in history?
Yes.
I think he might.
Okay. Mike Leake is making his Giants debut at Arlington, Texas against Martin Perez. And they will get underway in about 3 minutes. Rangers lost last night to the Giants in extra innings. Altuve takes off. Here's the throw on the base. Safe. 28 steals.
Somebody is teaching that snap tag very well with the Arizona Diamondbacks. Pennington was just letting that glove sling immediately to the area right in front of the bag. Watch this tag. No reach at all. That's making this play very, very close.
He really did.
And I believe the call is correct. But Pennington doing it right.
Lance Barrett made the call. It's 3-1 now, and the steal could turn into a run here. Correa can hit one in the right spot. Oh, Altuve now. He was leaning a little bit toward third, but he got back to second on the throw to Pennington.
Do not like that move at all, especially when there's no infielder at the bag.
Correa has been outstanding with men in scoring position. 366. Outside for ball 4. Runners at first and second. One out for Evan Gattis. We apologize. We're having technical difficulties. The picture, we understand, is gone. So if you are not able to see the game, we'll assume that we should step it up a little bit and do more description at this point, Ash.
Well, when that's called upon, you are the man to bring it.
Well, we understand it's back now. Meeting at the mound. Meanwhile, Gary Pettis has a meeting with Jose Altuve. And Gattis, of course, a double play threat here. They'll want to talk about that, but also about the possibility of a double steal, perhaps.
That would be probably the key component right now that you would look for. Very good speed on the bases. Where do you throw the baseball if both guys take off?
Yeah, from the Arizona standpoint, if they can get the back runner, we'll say if Altuve gets a big jump and they could throw out Correa, they would have 2 outs and a runner at third. But that has to be predetermined. There we have the breakdown with 44 pitches by Robbie Ray.
You and I were given some information on Robbie Ray today that the fastball was in the mid and plus 90s range. We haven't seen any semblance of that.
No. Strike one call to Gattis. We had one set of statistics in which he averaged 93 on his fastball, and batting average against it was 229. And he has thrown it 74% of the time this year. And a move back towards second. Apparently, Colby Rasmus's brother Corey will start for the Angels later today against the Dodgers and Matt Latos. C.J. Wilson now is down with bone chip surgery on his left elbow, so there could be a Rasmus matchup later this season. Jared Weaver is supposed to be coming back pretty soon to that Angel rotation. 1-1. It's not thought to be that big a deal by some people who follow the Angels to lose C.J. Wilson, because they do have depth in their rotation. They have pitchers like Nick Tropiano. The young lefty Andrew Heaney has pitched pretty well for them.
As a club, they've pitched much better than people anticipated.
True. Jed Lowry's on deck. Gattis works the count to 2-1. Here's what's been going on in the Wild Wild West. Through July 20th, the Angels 52-40. They led by 2. The Astros were 51-43. And since then, the Angels have gone 3-8. 5-game losing streak. The Astros have gone 8-3 to build a 3-game lead over the Angels.
Kind of with the Astros has come down to where are they playing, home or road this year?
For sure. Now 3-1. We look back, and the last series the Astros lost at home, we mentioned, was late May. They've gone 21-6 at home since then, and 7-21 on the road. So they played 28-27 baseball. But what a wild ride. So successful at home, and a tremendous lack of success away from here. They started the year very well on the road, but now they're 22-28.
And it's long been said, if you can play 500-ish on the road and then take care of business at home, you got a chance to win your division. And the Astros have a chance to get there, but they do have to tune up that road game.
They leave on a long road trip, as we mentioned, after this game. So that'll be a test for them. Gaddis chases one, and it's 3-2.
I saw that one he really likes.
Well, he has hit those high pitches, you're right.
A beard high heater.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right at the beard. Two-seam fastball. That's not the way you generally try to throw that pitch.
Big 3-2 pitch coming with one out. And they are really watching Altuve at second base. Great to have the veterans with us again today. Bouncer slowly hit to shortstop. Flip to third, and Altuve is forced. Nick Ahmed, so that he had that out at third, and went with a backhanded flip to get Altuve from 6-5.
That is pretty slick work right there.
Yes.
You know, you're just about in line with the base runner. And as you continue forward toward the plate, you cross that line maybe, but that's like a really long toss for a second baseman toward the bag at second. I think that really surprised Altuve.
Yeah. You don't see that play often, you're right. And he had the easy out at first on Gaddis, but then there would have been runners at second and third instead of first and second with two outs. Lowry doubled to left in the second inning off the glove of Peralta. Jed with a shot, and there's the pick. Pennington gets it to Ahmed for the forced play. No runs a hit, 2 men stranded. After 3, it's 1-1.
Now takes us inside the box score as we look at Paul Goldschmidt, one of the game's great hitters now. and leading the National League. But you can see he is loaded up with the red squares, hot spots in his batting average. Against fastballs, hitting .376 and a great slugging percentage. This guy is one of the game's true sluggers and great hitters.
And now as Paul Goldschmidt steps up, Alan Ashby got us a 5-run 4th inning last night with a Hank Conger grand slam. Middle innings, Alan Ashby.
Thank you, Brownie, and you take care of that voice. We'll get you back in action here soon as Colin McHugh brings the curveball for a strike starting the inning. And it is Paul Goldschmidt at the plate. It's Goldschmidt, Peralta, and Castillo to start the inning. 12 consecutive first pitch strikes now from Colin as he misses away. Goldschmidt had a 12-game hitting streak snapped last night as he went 0 for 3 with a couple of strikeouts. Still hitting .346 and takes a bite out of Jason Castro. You just get to swing in the bat well. You're feeling good about things, and then comes that foul tip that takes a bite somewhere. Goldschmidt flied to center field in the first inning. Colin McHugh put together a nice quick 1-2-3 first inning and had a 1-2-3 third. Good curveball, but fouled back. A run on 2 hits for the Diamondbacks. They've left 1. The Astros will run on 4 hits. They've left 4. In fact, Goldschmidt came into last night's game having picked up 2 hits in each of his previous 3 games, so he came in as a very hot hitter. Came up with the Diamondbacks in 2011. Hit .250 with 8 home runs that year in 48 games, but made an impression. And now has a 3-2 count.
After that 2011 season with the .250 average, he hit .438 in the division series with 2 homers. He arrived on the scene that year, certainly.
Starts the day leading the National League at .346, as we mentioned. Bryce Harper's second, 14 points back. And so a pretty sizable cushion for Goldschmidt. And he swings through this little cutter out number 1 in the 4th.
Such a good pitch. He just had that slight movement at the end, and Goldschmidt couldn't get the bat to it.
Second strikeout for Colin. Might see a number of hitters this afternoon swinging at pitches off the corners, as Brownie mentioned. Word gets out. That's been somewhat the strike zone today. Crew Chief Dale Scott back there. With 1 out, it brings up the left-hand hitting David Peralta.
Well, as you well know, Ash, if you want a quicker game, a bigger strike zone is a pretty good avenue to get it.
I've often wondered how Major League Baseball can legitimately make that happen. They've tried up and down, and some of the umpires buying in as the pitch is bunted foul third base side. And I imagine that's about the only way to go. There's no way they're going to change the size of the plate. But you've got to get the umpires to buy into that bottom of the knees and then that top area of the strike zone to start calling it.
Exactly. The zone should be mid-chest by rule book definition.
The 0-2 from Colin. Fastball blown by. Jason Castro looked like he thought it might have been a third out of the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts, 3 now for Colin. It'll bring up the 5-hitter Wellington Castillo, who doubled with 1 out in the second inning and scored the lone Diamondbacks run.
There's some late life on that one in '92, Ash.
Yeah, that's that 4-seamer. We haven't seen a whole lot from Colin, but when he's thrown it over the bats. Castillo with that double hitting .245. Came into this series having homered in 3 straight games. That's that good curveball from Colin. 0-1 the count.
Wellington only has one L in his name, Ash.
Apparently they were lacking in L's at the time. Again, the curveball. Bat starts. And the appeal brings Palms down.
It's a good name for a butler, isn't it? Wellington?
The butler always does it. He's shown some pop. That double coming down the left field line in the second inning. Good swing on the curveball.
Colin really has an outstanding curve.
He does tend to fall back on that slider sometimes. A lot of times the cutter when he's scuffling it all with command. There's the curveball as he gets pretty close to a 12-6. Castillo hails from the Dominican Republic. 28 years of age. Now in his 6th year in the major leagues. Fastball hit on the ground to that vacated right side and just by Jose Altuve, a 2-out single as Castillo is 2 for 2.
Good effort by Altuve, who was overshifted, but Castillo had enough force on that grounder to get it by him.
Yeah, great effort by Jose. So Castillo, the catcher, aboard as Jake Lamb comes to the plate. Lamb had a double that drove in the only run for the Diamondbacks.
You know, as we've seen Altuve give that kind of effort consistently ever since he came up to the big leagues, it's got to be so much better for him to give the effort and get more wins as a result of that effort.
I still find it amazing that people, when talking about Altuve, talk about what a fine hitter he is, and he certainly is that, but you don't hear much about the defense, and when you do, oftentimes it's something negative. And in watching him day by day, I don't think that's evident at all.
Well, sure-handed. He really does everything he can physically do to get to balls. He may not be the rangiest, toolsiest second baseman many people have seen, but the effort is always there.
Ground ball right side, shift on, and Altuve's there. That'll do it for the D-backs in the 4th inning. They get a hit and leave a man. We played 3.5, and we're tied at 1.
Fourth, and we will see Jason Castro up this half inning, getting the start today. He and Hank Conger making things tough for A.J. Hinch, the skipper, on who to play every day. We've seen Castro double today, but 3 nights ago, I should start, with the 2 3-run home runs on back-to-back nights, and then last night Hank Conger coming off the bench and playing and getting, of course, 2 home runs for him. So lots of production out of his catchers. Now, as far as who plays every day, it could be defensively who Pinch wants to handle the pitcher that day, or the matchup offensively, both swinging it well, but it's definitely hard to keep that when you alternate these guys. However, it's a luxury. Pinch calling these guys 2 everyday catchers, Ash.
Thank you, Julia. And that they are right now, the way they're swinging the bats. Very valuable guys. And Jason Castro has had a pretty quiet season with the bat, but here in the last few ball games, as Julia's talking about, really swinging it well. And Conger watching today with the left-hander Robbie Ray on the hill. Marwin Gonzalez leads it off. We're in the bottom of the 4th inning.
As we were talking last night about players buying into the team concept, and sometimes a player does not have a very good year going, but the pennant race captivates everybody. Player subjugates his own statistics to the team's needs, and whatever he can do to contribute, that will make it work. Johnny Bench did not have a good year in '76, but he went crazy in the playoffs. And so the deeper you get into the season, the less the individual statistics really matter.
You know what? I can't imagine Johnny Bench not having a good year by the general standard out there.
Well, that's true. I think his left shoulder was bothering him a lot of that year, and perhaps it had healed a little bit more by the time he got to the playoffs, but he really broke out, and he wound up being MVP of the World Series in '76 when the Reds swept the Yankees. But as he prepared for that first playoff series, he said he was just concentrating on his defense.
Ground ball back past the mound. Pennington, the second baseman, with the play as he gets Marwin out, number 1 in the 4th.
And there are so many areas in which a player can be helpful, whether it's a diving catch by a Jake Marisnik or a catcher calling a good game, or any number of ways other than getting hits and driving in runs.
Now to bring up Chris Carter, who had a sacrifice fly in the 2nd inning that scored Jed Lowry, who had led off the inning with a double. RBI number 47 for Carter. A very good at bat as he battled on tough close pitches and finally got one in the strike zone to hit in the air to center. Take a peek at the scoreboard around the major leagues as we get through this 4th inning. In the bottom of the 7th inning in Toronto, the Blue Jays lead over the first place Kansas City Royals 2-0. Chris Colabello has homered, his 10th of the year. Big swing by Carter. 2-1 the count. R.A. Dickey and Edinson Volquez, the starters today. Volquez touched up for a couple of runs in 6 innings. Just 4 hits against him. 3-1 now on Carter. Waiting on deck is Jason Castro.
Ray really does let that fastball get away from him outside to a right-handed batter quite often.
On the hands, it's filled. Pirates lead at the Reds 3-0. That's in the bottom of the 8th inning. That one got away. Ball 4 as Carter draws the 1-out walk.
One issue with Ray has been a rather high pitch count when he gets to the middle innings of the game. He's had a lot of balls fouled off by hitters, and he's at 61 right now. That's not a particularly alarming number, but the Astros have done a pretty nice job of working the count so far.
1 out for Jason Castro. Picked up his 13th double on the year. Scalding one down the first base line in the 2nd inning. With the recent surge, Castro up to .219 with the batting average. Drills one of the gap in left center field. That'll drop for a hit. Carter into second base. Second hit of the afternoon for a suddenly hot Jason Castro.
We saw this last year with Chris Carter. And in late July and then all through the month of August, he was just ripping the baseball. If Castro can come around that same way, well, the Astros are going to love his results.
Got a fastball right through the heart of the plate. and tattooed it well. So very nice to see as Julia talks about the catching, really getting it going now. Jason Castro appears to have caught fire. One out, runners at first and second for Jake Marisnick, strikeout victim in the second. Carter has to be aware at second base. Robbie Ray has used that little inside move back to the bag a number of times. 5 hits now for the Astros. Jake Marisnick hitting .234. Had a hot start to his season. And Jake, a big guy that has power. 5 home runs this year, driving in 21. Jason Castro actually swinging the bat better, more consistently against lefties this year. So maybe no surprise in seeing Castro 2 for 2 against the lefty Ray. One and 2 on Jake. 65 pitches for Ray. Offers on that high breaking ball. Down on strikes for the second time this afternoon. That's 3 for Ray. 2 down as it brings up the leadoff man, Jose Altuve. Frustrating game. Jake's already made a great play defensively, but everybody wants to swing that bat. Altuve's 1 for 2 on the day. Had a 3rd inning single and then stole a bag, his 28th on the season.
Well, the Astros hoping he's the man here. He has a .368 batting average with runners in scoring position, second best in the American League, and the objective is not to chase that high heater.
Or as Marisnick can tell you, stay off that high breaking ball as well.
That's true.
Change up in the dirt.
Ash, just a little quick math here for the Astros catchers on this homestand. This is game number 6. Conger and Castro have combined to go 10 for 20, 4 homers, 12 runs batted in.
Well, that will work. And of course, Conger, the big night last night, a couple of home runs, a grand slam, the first one in his career. First one for the Astros, the major league leading team in home runs on this season. 1-0 the count on Jose. With that 3rd inning single, Altuve now hitting .298. 2-0 is the count, excuse me.
Very good job by Jose working the count his way. Now he can try to zone in on a fastball, but make sure it's going to catch some of the plate.
Altuve coming into play today had gone just 1 for 10 here in the series against the Diamondbacks. Came into the series hitting .302. Big swing, the head goes flying. It's 2-1. .341 that batting average last year for Jose as he won the batting title. Got off to a great start this year and then hit the skids a bit. But no way you can complain about the batting average right near that 300 mark. He's a lifetime .302 hitter. Takes a good breaking ball. It's 2-2. There's a view right down the right field line. Seen some intriguing views here this afternoon.
The camera's been moving a lot. Oh, he gets
drills Jose.
Boy, wow.
And the big crowd here at Minute Maid Park not liking that a bit, but that'll load them up for Carlos Gomez. And now the pitching coach, Mike Harkey, going to come out to the mound. And that's not the makings of a nice day right there.
6th time he's been hit by a pitch. Wow.
Here in the inning, we've seen Ray all over the place with that fastball.
Yes. He just pulled that pitch right into Altuve's left rib cage. 2nd time he's been hit on this homestand.
So the base is loaded for Carlos Gomez, who, as Brownie said earlier, had 3 hits last night to get it going in an Astros uniform. Gomez on the day has struck out and flied out. That fly ball to right field deep up against the wall. It took the Astros till their 105th game to hit their first grand slam. And now a shot with Gomez. The Astros head out on the road following today's game. 3 in Arlington against the Rangers. Lance McCullers gets it going. He'll oppose Colby Lewis, the right-hander for Texas. McCullers 5-3, and he's pitched so well. Big swing by Gomez. He comes up empty. Very impressive player. Numbers, however, down a bit this year. Lays off the high heat. Ninth year in the major leagues for Carlos. The next home run he hits will be number 100. Fastball out there has been called a strike today. So it's 2-2.
Love the energy in the building, Ash.
Oh, it's great. Next pitch this inning will be number 25 in the frame for Ray. Carlos Gomez, if you're wondering, has 1 career grand slam. Grounds one right side. There's a hole there, and it gets through. Carter scores. Castro scores. 2-run single by Gomez. And the Astros take the lead 3-1 here in the 4th.
Cliff Pennington took a dive to his left. It looked as if he would have a fair shot at making the play. And Gomez has really swung the bat well this time. He got to that 2-2 count. Did not try to overswing as he did with that first swing of the at-bat. Put it in play, and something very good happened for him.
Now you can see him stay on top of the baseball there, Brownie. On a pitch up in the zone. Powerful swing by Carlos Gomez. And he is already paying dividends for the club.
Well, Julia mentioned the fact that A.J. liked him hitting second. In this case, a great opportunity for an RBI, and he drove in 2, hitting second.
Toss over to first base. Runners at the corners. Altuve at third. Gomez at first base. Very good speed on each side. They break up the stats for players traded or moving between leagues, but that's 45 RBIs on the year for Gomez. And his first 2 as a member of the Astros. Strike is called on Carlos Correa. Gomez, a guy who's not afraid to display his emotions. Rich Dower is going to get hurt over there this year. Correa, not a good swing on the breaking ball. It's 0-2. Correa 1 for 1 on the day. Had a single in the first inning. Walked in the third.
Well, you mentioned the number of pitches in this inning, and Astros have done a pretty good job of making Robbie Ray work.
The base hit by Gomez, hit number 6 for Houston today. Runner goes from first. The pitch is a ball and a stolen base for Gomez. Uncontested at the bag at second. So Gomez picking up a number of firsts for the club. That's his first stolen base, 8th on the season. And you can see he can really run, and watch him bounce coming off the bag. There might be room for a tag there if somebody hangs on to a tag. Correa takes away. 2-2. And 2 runners in scoring position.
Gomez in 2012 stole 37 bases in 43 tries. In 2013 he was 40 for 47, and last year 34 for 46. He's 80% for his career in stealing bases. Has not been running very much this year.
Correa gets a piece on that slider.
But now adding him, and apparently he is very healthy from what we're seeing, to this Astros running game is going to mean even more headaches for opposing pitchers and catchers.
You would think so. The Astros lead the league in stolen bases. They are now 3rd in the American League in runs per game, trailing only Toronto and the Yankees. So it's becoming a very good scoring team. Correa hits it on the ground right side. Pennington with the play, and they'll get the out. That'll do it for Houston in the 4th inning, but they get a pair and leave a pair. We played 4, and the Astros on top of the D-backs 3-1.
Hosting clients or celebrating a special occasion, an Astros luxury suite will create memories and experiences your group is sure to remember. Call the Astros premium ticket line at 1-877-9-ASTROS and reserve your luxury suite today, guys.
Julie, what do you think of the Rallymeister Ash taking over for another productive 4th inning?
I'm down with it. Ash is doing a great job up there.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of runs for this club.
That's right. This is all you, Ash.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did my sit-up. No, I didn't. Okay, but anyway, something I did got it going. Thanks, Julia. Thanks, Brownie. Aaron Hill leads it off. as we go to the 5th inning. Hill, Pennington, and Ahmed for the D-backs. Bottom 3 in the order, as Colin McHugh has the lead and brings a strike to start the 5th.
16 consecutive first pitch strikes for Colin.
Dallas Keuchel, a 13-game winner. Colin McHugh trying to win his 13th. Second time this afternoon that Aaron Hill has had that weak swing on the curveball. Well, you log that and kind of keep that in your memory. Maybe reserve that pitch for big moments. And even at 90 miles an hour, that fastball looks alive after the curveball.
You might call him Professor McHugh, the way he approaches pitching.
Well, he can give you that impression too. Hill was the guy that lined to right field, the great diving catch by Marisnick in the 2nd inning. Correa with this play, the good strong throw, out number 1 in the 5th.
We look at the go-ahead 2-run single by Carlos Gomez on this 2-2 pitch. We thought maybe Pennington would have a shot, and he came really close to getting it. Not sure if he didn't get his glove out there.
Yeah.
No, he didn't quite extend it far enough, but you know, it would have been a great play. But nonetheless, when he left his feet, it looked as if he had a pretty good shot at it. Cargo very happy he didn't come up with it.
First 2 RBIs as an Astro for Cargo. You always want to fit in and start helping in victories. And 3 hits last night didn't hurt a bit. I'd say he's got his feet on the ground and feeling comfy with the team.
You know that.
Cliff Pennington drew a walk in the 2nd. Pennington was at bat when when Jake Lamb was picked off at second base. Fans of all ages. What's your first memory of a Major League Baseball game? Goofy? Ball driven down the right field side. Extra bases as it goes to the wall. 1-out double for Pennington. That's the 3rd double for the Diamondbacks today. Colin with the changeup that he leaves right through the gut. So Pennington in scoring position after this double down the right field side. The 9-hitter Nick Ahmed at the plate. Very slick shortstop, and showed off some of that slickness with a fine play, a little backhanded flip to third base to get Altuve as a lead runner.
This Arizona club has overachieved in the opinions of some. 50-52 after losing 98 last year.
You know what, though, if you're the manager, you don't mind hearing that kind of statement. Ground ball through the left side. That's a base hit. Pennington will stop at 3rd. Runners at 1st and 3rd with 1 out in the top of the order coming up.
They've been grinding it, and they, even though are not in a favorable position, 8 games out, tied with the Padres. They are 6.5 back in the wild card race, hoping to do some damage. But the difficulty is those 2 teams at the top, the Dodgers and the Giants, are so good.
Dodgers and Giants have been the class of the division. So the Astros up a pair. Will play back for the double play. Leadoff man Inciarte at the plate.
And once again, the 2 wild cards are creating all kinds of good races.
Inciarte hitting .292, slaps one foul down the left side.
You know, there was quite a buzz in New York for the Mets last night. They've been gaining ground by beating the first place team, Washington, in the NL East. They're only 1 game back, in fact, so there's a buzz over that. And then the trade acquisition of Yoenis Cespedes has energized those Mets fans, but the Cubs are only a game out of the 2nd wild card in the NL. San Diego and Arizona 6.5, so it's going to be an interesting time for those clubs.
McHugh finds the outside corner in front on the count. 0-2. Inciarte just 1 for 10 here in the series.
The American League, you've got the Angels in Minnesota right now holding down the 2 wild cards, but Baltimore's 1 back, Toronto 2, White Sox 3.5, Tampa Bay and Texas 4.
And you mentioned Toronto. The Blue Jays have jumped on top of the Royals 3-2 in the 8th. High heat gets him, and that's a big out. 2 down now with runners at the corners for the 2-hitter, Yasmani Tomas.
Now this is a major strikeout with 1st and 3rd and 1 out. And the leadoff man unable to make contact, trying to chase this one up the ladder and swinging underneath it.
Tomas has grounded back to the mound twice on the afternoon.
They wanted to see if this fella could play third base. That did not work out, but he's a Cuban-born hitter who swings the bat well.
Hitting .297. McHugh trying to get out of this inning now with no damage. Pirates lead at 3-0 at Cincinnati over the Reds. They're in the bottom of the 9th inning now. Marlins are hosting San Diego, and the Marlins lead at 2-0. They're in the 8th. Tigers lead at Baltimore 6-1 in the 8th inning. Good little cutter. And an 0-2 count.
In that Baltimore game, Ash, Chris Davis hit his 18th homer at Camden Yards this year, the most in the majors at home. 26 overall.
A guy who got off to a slow start on the season. Number 26 overall for Davis. Great job by Castro.
Yeah, we've been seeing that from him consistently throughout this homestand, haven't we?
You call that curveball. You anticipate it in the dirt. And you can see how quickly Castro dropped to his knees, kept the glove down. Yeah, that catching position is starting to look like a strength for the Astros. Fastball got him. Back-to-back strikeouts of Inciarte and Tomas. And McHugh gets out of the 5th inning stranding a pair. Through 4.5. 3-1. Astros on top.
Is presented by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. By Jack in the Box. For a limited time, try the new Portobello Mushroom Buttery Jack with melted garlic herb butter. And by Big Time Bats, the Craig Biggio Louisville Slugger Hall of Fame bat is now available. Call Big Time Bats at 866-490-BATS or see it at BigTimeBats.com. Ash.
Thank you, Brownie. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. Astros on top 3-1, trying to take the series 2 out of 3 against the Diamondbacks. Scrappy team that came in playing very well. They had won 6 straight prior to last night's victory for the Astros. Gaddis, Lowry, and Margot here in the inning. Gaddis 0 for 2 on his day. Takes the breaking ball at the knees.
It's at this stage of the game, Ash, 3-1 Houston, and after the 2-run fourth gave the Astros the lead, they have a chance to really do some damage on Robbie Ray.
Hit high and deep right field. Back at the wall. See ya. Evan Gaddis goes yard opposite field, his 17th on the year, and the Astros extend the lead to 4-1.
That's that high pitch he likes so much. This time he made solid contact, and it was a no-doubter. Opposite field shot. 17 homers, 59 runs batted in for Gaddis.
Now the Astros come up with their first long ball of the afternoon. Astros continue to lead the major leagues in home runs. That's number 148 for the club. And they stay very clean in the process.
A refreshing home run.
Jed Lowry at the plate with a double in 2 at-bats.
That is a powerful man.
You know you're loved on this club if you're wet. Just keep pouring that water on top of the guys.
That's 148 long balls for the Major League leading Astros. They've been riding that home run train on this homestand. They've hit 90 long balls at home.
Lowry drills one to right center field and deep. Going back and making the play, Tomas. And the first out of the inning. And let's take another look at Evan Gaddis and that long ball prowess. That's not quite up in the beard, but he'll take it. Looked like it took Evan a moment to find the baseball.
Well, they knew they'd be finding it about 10 rows up.
Arizona has a left-hander throwing in the pen, Andrew Chafin. Marwin has laid down a sacrifice bunt and grounded out. And that sacrifice in the second inning led to the first Houston run. There's Chafin in the pen. Oh, and 2 on Marwin.
By the way, Ash, Mike Fiers, who will start Tuesday night against the Rangers, was officially put on the 25-man roster today, and Vince Velasquez was optioned back to Double-A Corpus Christi to make room for him.
Vince, who pitched so well again last night, and he's looked good in a couple of relief appearances. Down on strikes, Marwin Gonzalez, second out of the inning, and 4 strikeouts now for Robbie Ray. And a peek at Mike Fiers. Reminds me a bit of Rick Sutcliffe with that delivery style.
Yeah.
Of course, that takes it back a long ways, and a lot of folks may not remember Sutcliffe, but it's a fastball that gets by hitters, and yet it's not in the mid-90s. One of those guys who rides it really well.
Well, Vince Velasquez had quite a farewell performance last night. 2 2/3 innings of hitless relief and the 9-2 win.
Yeah, it's kind of a see you soon kind of a performance for Vince.
Yeah, he threw the ball exceptionally well. Difficult for him to go back down to the minors after that.
Well, I think maybe even more difficult to be the one to tell him you're going back down.
You bet.
You absolutely deserve to be here, but part of the wave about making sure you protect these arms now.
That's a big part of it, trying to keep the innings from piling up on Vince. And the Astros really want to make that postseason and want to have him on that postseason roster.
3-2 on Carter. Sac fly in the second, and a walk and scored in the fourth inning. Scored on that 2-run single by Carlos Gomez. They appeal. No swing. Carter draws his second walk. And our pitching performance powered by Kubota. And we'll go to Vince Velasquez, who again last night came in relief to close this thing out. And his stuff was outstanding. We've seen a little more velocity with the fastball, but this young man can really pitch. And along with Lance McCullers, you've got a couple of great young arms coming to this club.
That also kept the bullpen fresh for today's game. Josh Fields had pitched to one batter prior to Velasquez going the final 2 2/3. Keiko went 6.
And now Jason Castro 2 for 2 with a double and a single. A breaking ball called a strike.
Well, we've had 2 benches clearing situations in 2 different major league games. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, after McCutchen and Phillips were both hit by pitches. And in Toronto, Tulowitzki and Escobar were both hit by Kansas City pitchers again.
Half swing, and they appeal to third. They get the strike call from C.B. Buckner. And an 0-2 count on Jason. With the 2 hits, by the way, Castro now the batting average at .223. And that bat gets out there 2 and maybe beyond the front of the plate.
Those Royals pitchers are really building a bad reputation for hitting people.
Yeah, you bring up a good point, because I think with the dust-ups that have gone on this year, more often than not, KC is involved.
Yeah. Began with their series with the White Sox. Jordano Ventura. Calvi Morera was ejected from that game. They just have hit far too many for the hitters to feel good about that this year.
Blue Jays now lead 4-2 over the Royals. They appeal, and this time it goes in Castro's favor.
That club plays with an edge. It's an outstanding team, the best team in the American League, but there's going to be more trouble.
Red Sox lead the Rays 3-2 in the 7th inning. You may recall I mentioned about Hank Conger last night, that front side staying completely closed when he took a couple of pitches. And that even preceded the home runs last night, or maybe the second home run anyway. But watching Castro take that slider, nothing moved on the front side. Very good sign. Three and 2 now on Jason. That'll put Carter on the move. The Atlanta Braves lead at 6-2 at Philadelphia in the 8th inning. The Yankees having it their way in the 5th inning at Chicago, leading the White Sox 9-0. Well, the Yankees have come alive. 13 games over 500 at the start of play today.
They'll be bringing up one of their starting pitching prospects to work in a couple of days now.
You know, Kansas City, with the best record in the American League, they are 21 games over the break-even point. Runner goes, the pitch, strike 3 called. Castro caught looking, and I think Jason thought he was taking a walk. But that'll do it for Houston in the 5th inning. They get a run on the big home run by Evan Gattis as the caveman strikes.
Jonathan, 11-year-old, big-time Astros fan, who was with me during Evan Gattis' home run, and those fireworks are loud, aren't they?
Yes.
Yeah, he even had to cover his ears. That's okay. Very exciting. But this is why he's my fan of the game. Stand up and show us the back of your head. Check this out, guys. This is Biggio weekend, of course. Look at this haircut. Okay, Jonathan, turn back around because you got to answer a question. How long did it take for them to do that?
Like 30 or 25 minutes.
That's a long time to sit there and be still.
Yeah, it hurt.
Whose idea was this?
It was my dad's idea.
Do you like it? Are you okay with it?
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
You're okay with it. You look really cool, and the fans around you love it too. All right, have a seat. Here's your bag. Thanks for being our fan of the game. Have a great time today. Guys, awesome. Here, show them one more time. Turn around. Check this out, guys.
Artistic.
Very nice. Very nice. Julia finds all the big stories. Paul Goldschmidt leads off here in the 6th inning for Arizona with the Astros leading it 4-1. Goldschmidt has flied out and struck out. This day back in 2011, Paul Goldschmidt hit his first career home run. That came off a pretty good right-hander, Tim Lincecum. Fastball up to 92 for Colin. Astros with 4 runs on 7 hits. They've hit 1 long ball today, that by Evan Gattis. Diamondbacks 1 run on 5 hits. Fly ball to center, shallow as Gomez comes on. And out number 1.
Mark Capella had quite a game for Fresno last night, Ash. 7 innings, 3 hits, 1 run, no walks, 10 strikeouts.
That's kind of a breakout night, I would think, for what Mark has done this year.
Yeah, he has a 4.45 ERA since he was promoted to AAA. So that is a breakout game for him.
David Peralta at the plate, the 4-hitter, has struck out twice. Caught looking in the 2nd, swinging in the 4th. And Colin McHugh with 5 strikeouts on the afternoon. Mentioned that the Yankees were leading the White Sox 9-0 now in the 6th inning. That was Jeff Samardzija starting for the White Sox, going 4 2/3, allowing 9 earned runs. A name that was very prominent in a lot of the trade talk this year.
In that Pirate Reds game, Joey Votto was thrown out. Sean Rodriguez was. Marlon Byrd also was ejected, but no punches were thrown.
Ground ball back up the middle, and a 1-out single by Peralta. Hit number 6 for the D-backs.
Tensions are escalating in the majors, Ash.
What's the reason?
The dog days are here. Dog days of August.
Ah.
Okay. Saw your dog this morning.
Yeah, you did.
Cute little dog.
You didn't get nipped, did you?
No. What's your dog's name again?
Samson. Because he's so big and strong.
Oh.
Wellington Castillo at the plate, 2 for 2. Has doubled and singled. No double plays turned on the afternoon. Diamondbacks got the scoring started first. A run in the 2nd inning. The Astros responded in that frame. RBI sac fly by Chris Carter. And then the Astros putting 2 on the board in the 4th. 1 more in the 5th inning on the home run by Gattis. Back to the seats on the right side. 0-2 the count.
Colin McHugh was kind enough to come to the Texas Italian American Sports Association luncheon to hand out some scholarships yesterday, and we were talking about Greg Maddux. He's had a chance to talk with him a little bit, how much knowledge Maddux could pass along about pitching. Colin's also that scholarly type. But he was amazed by Maddux and the depth of his knowledge, how he explained things.
Little dribbler is foul. Yeah, you always wonder what you can pick up from this guy or that. Some guys can actually be tight-lipped about imparting what they were able to do, at least while they're playing. Maddox, that guy that was immaculate with his command and could run the baseball as good as anybody I've ever seen.
Yeah, he really had low pitch counts, didn't he?
He was that guy that every once in a while you'd see an hour 50-something game with 80, 90 pitches less. 1-2 the count on Castillo.
It's about late movement. Colin was throwing his fastball 92 a few pitches ago. Maddox would live what in that area, 90, 91,
Yeah.
92.
Right around there.
But it was the late movement that really caused him to get so many outs.
My memory on Maddox is not so much the four-seamer as the two-seamer running it all over the place.
Lots of ground balls up the middle.
Which is crushed but fouled to the upper tank down the left side.
The late Pete Van Wieren used to talk about him. He was a fine Atlanta broadcaster who probably is deserving of the Ford Frick Award someday very soon. And the fact that the hitters hardly ever pull the ball on the ground with Maddox. So his hitters, the fielders tended to bunch more up the middle because of the fact that the entire ratio of the field was changed with him. It wasn't a 90-degree angle there from home plate. They were hitting it into a much smaller angle up the middle.
Ground ball back up the middle. Glove by Correa. Fires to first and got him. What a play by Carlos Correa. Young man does everything.
Well, he had a great jump on this. See how far he is from second base. Got moving, then reaches down, 360 spin move, and a lot of zip on this throw.
Well, you can't tire of watching this guy play both sides of the game. Man. 2 outs, man, at second base as Jake Lamb comes to the plate. These Astros and their fans are going to be loving some defense. Lamb 1 for 2 at a second inning 2-bagger. And then we mentioned picked off by Colin McHugh and Carlos Correa teaming up.
The defensive plays have been notable in this game. The pick off at second, the Marisnik catch, this play up the middle a moment ago by Correa. That is an element, Ash, of this game, as you well know, that will be vital going forward now.
Well, look, we've talked about the Astros pitching this year, and in particular the bullpen. I think much of it, that success they've had, can be attributed to the way the defense is played.
Yes. This is a pitch to contact pitching staff for the most part, and really dependent on those plays.
Lance McCullers and Vince Velasquez are trying to change that nature
Yes,
of the
they
staff.
are. Yes, they are. They're against the grain, aren't they?
Cubs lead over the Brewers 4-1 in Milwaukee, 6th inning. Curveball grounded right side. Altuve with the play, and that'll do it. Colin gets through the 6th inning. As the D-backs strand a man coming up for the Astros, it'll be Marisnik, Altuve, and the newcomer, Carlos Gomez.
Marisnick will lead off for the Astros, who can play right field too. We've seen him play a great center field, but today back in the second, robbing Aaron Hill right here with this diving grab in right field because he has some experience there, unlike Carlos Gomez, who hasn't played there in a long time. Carlos Gomez, Jake Marisnick, both Gold Glove caliber guys, as AJ Hinch was saying before today, but he does want Gomez to start getting work on the corners with Gary Pettis on this road trip so he can switch them out. But that's a couple of really good center fielders you got out there. Obviously, we've seen a lot of great plays from Jake, and we should be seeing some from Carlos Gomez too, guys.
Thank you, Julia. No doubt about it. Great. You say 4 guys on this Astros club that can play center field and do it as well as anybody in the game. Jake Marisnick leads off here in the 6th inning. The Diamondbacks have a new left-hander on the hill. We'll get to him, Andrew Chafin, in a moment, as Marisnick has a good swing fouling it back.
Marisnick hopes to get to him as well, but Chafin is 25 years old. He's been a starting pitcher. He had 3 starts last year with Arizona, but quite well now in the conversion to relief work. 9 straight scoreless appearances, 9 2/3 innings, 9 punch-outs.
Quickly 0-2 on Marisnick, who has struck out twice today. He'll be followed by Altuve and Carlos Gomez.
In 41 games, 5-0 with a 2.68 ERA. Great low whip of 108.
Marisnick hooks it down the left side.
Chafin is tops among lefty relievers in the National League in innings, 53 2/3.
The Astros trying to extend their home record to 38-18 with a victory today.
That's a tremendous record at home. Best in the American League.
St. Louis Cardinals in the National League are 39-16 at home. And Marisnick down on strikes, 3rd time this afternoon. Out number 1 in the 6th.
So AJ Hinch might be in that position of a Bill Verdon, we'll say, or a Larry Dierker. Phil Garner managing those clubs who have won maybe 50 or more at home in a season and gone into the playoffs. That's been one of the undercurrents for Astros playoff teams, outstanding home records down through the years.
Look at George Springer there trying to learn everything he can. You're going to have a chance on the plane today to get a peek at George Springer and maybe get served by him.
Really?
Yeah, he's all over the place. He's the constant life.
Great.
Altuve smokes it foul. Jose's 1 for 2 today.
You think they'll bring the smoke machine on the plane?
I have not seen it yet, but with you coming, it may be the case.
No.
Ball and a strike on Jose, hitting .298. Marlins now lead over the visiting Padres 5-2 in the 9th inning. Rockies and Cards tied at 2. Altuve shoots it through the right side. Second hit of the afternoon. 2 for 3 for Jose. And that'll get that batting average right about to that 300 mark, you would think. Houston Methodist helps us get to know Carlos Gomez. And I think we're going to enjoy a lot of that get to know with him. Signed with the Mets as an amateur free agent in 2006 at the age of 16. Dealt to the Twins in 08 in the Johan Santana trade. And 2013, second in the National League in WAR at 8.4, trailed only Clayton Kershaw. Now that's a pretty good number.
He was an all-star that year and also last year.
Hits it down the right side, not deep enough. Tomas back and now circles in to make the catch. Out number 2 in the 6th inning, and it brings up Carlos Correa.
Altuve had gone back to tag.
Altuve was aboard in the 4th inning, or make that the 3rd inning when Gomez flight out deep to right field, and I think maybe Jose thought about it further and thought maybe he could have tagged on that previous fly ball.
Well, Tomas did not cock his arm. He was pretty lackadaisical after he caught that ball in right field a minute ago.
Correa's 1 for 2, 7-game hitting streak. Very willing to take a lot of early strikes.
That's a confident hitter who can hit with 2 strikes in the count.
That is the truth.
Both of his hits today, or his hit came with 2 strikes. Grounded out another time.
Check swing as he fouls it back. 0-2 the count.
Looks like his right rib cage might be bothering him a little bit. Ash, he was reaching around, and now he's extending his right arm up as if to try to stretch. He may have a cramp.
Yeah, that is not what we want to hear. One and 2 the count on Carlos.
He's still reaching back there, Ash. Something is bothering him on that right side.
Yeah, let's hope that there's nothing major going on. You look at current American League shortstops, and Correa leads in home runs. Down on strikes. So that'll do it. A couple of strikeouts in the inning for Chafin. Astros leave a man as Altuve singled. Through 6, it's a 4-1 Houston lead.
This is brought to you by your local Honda dealer. Here are your clues. Remember to tweet the guys in the booth with your answers. We're going to give you the answer later in the broadcast. He was born in Hollywood, California. He felt like Marty McFly when he saw the Astrodome. I love that quote. He said, managing ain't like brain surgery. Guys, up to you.
You're not going to guess. No, you're not allowed to guess.
I'm not allowed to guess.
No. You know all these. You've got them down cold. Thanks, Julia.
We go to the 7th inning. Astros on top 4-1. Colin McHugh still on the hill, and back at the mic, Bill Brown.
Thanks, Ash. 33,871 the paid attendance on a fine Sunday. Aaron Hill is 0 for 2. He was robbed by a Marisnik outstanding catch. A diving effort back in the 2nd inning. A catch that has a lot of significance in this 4-1 game. At the time, it was 1-0 Arizona. There was a runner on second and 1 out. So telescoping from there, it was a big play. There's a fly ball over Gaddis out into left field. That one will kick and stay back there near the wall for a double by Hill. That's his 10th two-base hit of the year. So Arizona continues to battle and gets double number 4 of the game.
Colin McHugh fortunate here that this ball wasn't pulled just a bit more. But you see he imparts that spiral spin once again. And it looks more than anything like that pitch might have backed up.
Yeah, that happens sometimes with Colin. In fact, right-handed hitters are hitting .306 against him. And it's on that cutter or slider that you just saw. That's happened a few times this year. Cliff Pennington, the batter. Cliff has some local roots. There's a shot to Altuve. And it's out number 1. So Pennington, who was brought up around this area from Corpus Christi, Mary Carroll High School, and then Texas A&M, made a bid for a hit. He had reached the first 2 times, but that's out number 1. Ahmed is the batter. Ahmed is 1 for 2. He's grounded out and he's singled to left field. Eight hits for the Astros, 7 for the D-backs. Will Harris is warming up for Houston. David Hernandez for Arizona. In the dirt. Ball 1. R.A. Dickey won for the Blue Jays 5-2 over the Royals in Toronto. He's now 6-10. He beat Edinson Volquez, who's 10-6. Roberto Osuna got the save. And the benches emptied during that game. Blue Jays go to 2 games above 500 at 54-52. But they are being picked by many now after their acquisitions of 2 superstars to reach the playoffs. Shortstop Troy Tulowitzki and of course David Price. Picture time out there. Toronto began the day 2 games behind Minnesota in the wild card race. Toronto, of course, with a much higher payroll than Minnesota. Not that that wins games, but Blue Jays have tons of talent. Line shot into left center field. The runner holds. It's picked up by Gomez on a bounce. And it's 1st and 3rd on the single by Ahmed.
Follow the Astros all season long with MLB.com At Bat, the #1 app for live baseball. At Bat is up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, StatCast, and more. Get MLB.com At Bat for your smartphone or tablet.
With 1 out and runners at the corners, Arizona now gets a potential tying run to home plate. The leadoff man Inciarte is 0 for 3. Ahmed hit that ball right on the screws on the 2-0 count. So these 2 right-handed batters, Hill and Ahmed, have had good swings in the inning. And now Inciarte. McHugh has been more effective against left-handed batters. .239 is their average against him compared to right-handers, .306. He gets it in and it's popped up. Marwin Gonzalez. Jose Altuve takes charge. That's a big out, number 2. Goldschmidt on deck. Here's Tomas.
That means this is the guy to get.
He is 0 for 3 in this game. The top 3 hitters for Arizona have not reached base in this game. 0 for 10 collectively. Inciarte, Tomas, and Goldschmidt. And really throughout this series, the Astros have held the top 3 hitters down very well. Ball 1. McHugh is trying to get his first ever win against Arizona. D-backs banged out 14 hits in their 10-inning win Friday night, but last night they were held to 2 hits. They have 8 hits today. They have stranded 5. The Astros have left 8. It's 2-0. And with Harris in the bullpen now and 97 pitches for Colin McHugh, the Astros have gotten good mileage out of their starter. Pirates shut out the Reds in Cincinnati 3-0. They're 61-43. That's a strike for Dale Scott, and it's 2-1.
Well said. Let's see if it is for us as well. No, maybe not. Colin agrees.
There's only one man who counts this game. That's another strike. It's 2-2. Well, then it's up to the pitcher to go to that spot if that's where the call is.
Mentioned Greg Maddux a while ago. That was something Maddux was great at.
Yes, he was. Put it there on a dime, and that's what McHugh has done. Such a big out here if McHugh can get it to keep his club in the lead by 3. Probably the last man he will face. And he got him. No runs, 2 hits, 2 left. Terrific job by Colin McHugh in maintaining this 4-1 lead. Time to stand. 33,871 have bought tickets to see this Sunday afternoon contest and sing God Bless America.
Please rise now and join us as we take pause to salute our great nation, as well as saluting and thanking those who protect our freedoms around the world each and every day. Now, once again, please join Miss Mackenzie Walker for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above, from the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
It is time to name that Astro. Brought to you by your local Honda dealer. These were your clues. I had a lot of right answers right off the bat. I don't know about you guys up there, but it is Larry Durford. There he is.
We have all kinds of comments, and somebody said too easy again.
Those quotes maybe give it away.
Yeah.
They're classic.
Susan Pittman says too easy, so back to the drawing board for us.
Okay, well, I'll work on it.
They talk about it on the Astros bench, leading 4-1. Here is David Hernandez coming in. He's 0-1 with a 3.29 ERA, coming off the DL June 7th after missing all of last year with Tommy John surgery. He's been a very good major league relief pitcher. Evan Gattis faces him. He homered in the 5th to right field. There is strike one. Chafin in 1 inning, allowed 1 hit, no runs, had no walks, 2 strikeouts. David Hernandez is 30 years old, born in Sacramento. Began his career with Baltimore. Arizona got him in the Mark Reynolds trade after 2010. Breaking pitch goes wide, and it's 1-1. Now this crowd was really energized by Colin McHugh striking out Yasmani Tomas with 2 men on to end the top of the inning. The Astros seeking a little more working room now. That's in for a strike. It's 1-2. Arizona will make the long flight to Washington after this game. Take on the high-flying Nats, who have lost 2 in a row to the Mets.
It's a longer flight from ground level there up to the broadcast booth. So
that's true. The Diamondbacks, Ash, will fly 7,465 miles on this 3-city 11-game trip. They started out, they went from Phoenix to Seattle.
Oh, that's a mistake already.
Seattle to Houston, Houston to Washington.
Wow. And then back to the
Phoenix.
desert, huh?
Yeah. Back to being snakes again. Strikeout for Hernandez, number 1, and it's Jed Lowry. Lowry 1 for 3. Pat Neshek is warming up for the Astros. The Nats will have Zach Godley going against Doug Fister tomorrow afternoon in Washington. Jed Lowry takes a look at strike 1. He doubled off the left fielder's glove in the 2nd inning and came around to score on a Carter sac fly. The Astros able to get Lowry to 3rd on a Marwin Gonzalez sac bunt, and then Carter driving him in. In for a strike, 0-2. Then Ash took over. He always is the rally maker. And Carlos Gomez broke the 1-1 tie with a 2-run single on 2 strikes with 2 outs in the 4th inning. Gattis hit a homer in the 5th. That puts us at 4-1. And Lowry strikes out.
Just trying to make sure you bring it home with gusto, Brownie.
Oh boy, you put the pressure on. Gonzalez is 0 for 2, but did have that important sac bunt in the 2nd inning. Daniel Norris took a 3-hitter into the 8th inning in his Detroit debut. Tigers wound up beating the Orioles 6-1 as Norris went to 2-1. He's the young lefty obtained in the David Price deal from Toronto. Ubaldo Jimenez was the loser. And Brad Ausmus now has to retool on the fly with that Detroit club, which is now 3 games under 500. J.D. Martinez will help, though. He connected again. Tremendous year for J.D. It's 1-1. You know, J.D. has really had no bitterness at all toward the Astros
organization. He's been great. You're right. But he's taken an opportunity and really run with it.
He deserves all the credit. Fouled away. 1-2. The Royals, with that big lead in the AL Central, have pulled 7.5 in front of the Twins. White Sox and all those other clubs just kind of hoping for a miracle here in the last 2 months. And a wild card, there you have it. The Twins, do they have enough staying power? People have been asking that question about the Astros and the Twins for months now. The Twins, though, unlike the Astros, really didn't fortify with trades. J.D. Martinez now has 29 home runs, 71 runs batted in.
You think with the Twins that was more about the expenses, or that they maybe didn't feel they were in that position yet?
Not sure, Ash. There's a foul ball that screams back next door, and it's still 2-2.
That's the kind of foul ball we're looking for.
Yeah. Fans are looking up there. I think maybe Alex Trevino might have caught that one next door.
In the forehead.
Angels nothing, Dodgers nothing. Top of the second. In the city of the Angels, Los Angeles, that is. Matt Latos and Corey Rasmus are the pitchers. Latos just acquired in a deal by the Dodgers. Line drive, left field line, and that's slicing and going foul. The Angels have lost 5 in a row.
Yeah, right at a time when you just didn't expect it. They were playing so well, and then the Astros took them down 3 straight, and that set them on that course. Nice job by Marwin, taking the up and away changeup and just slapping it near the line.
Yes. Astros nemesis Colby Lewis will pitch for Texas tomorrow night against Lance McCullers. Giovanni Gallardo matches up with Mike Fiers Tuesday night, and it's Nick Martinez and Scott Kazmir Wednesday night. 3-2. Here's what we have. You want to be clairvoyant on this series?
Well, you know what? It's a tougher series than you think about. Early on in the year, I thought Texas was really not that good of a ball club, but they've come on. But Lance McCullers gets the chance to set the tone. And I'm really anxious to see Mike Fiers, see what he does. Scott Kazmir's been great.
Come on up to Arlington. Bring your cooler and watch the game. Should be a fun series, or stay at home. That's a 2-out walk for Marwin Gonzalez.
Well, if they stay at home, they'll have to sit and watch the TV.
Yeah, I had to think about that, but you're right. We want them staying home, don't we? Oh, well, it's fun to come to the ballpark, too, but heat alert, it's going to be 100 degrees.
Wow.
Maybe only 88 by game time if there's a nice breeze.
You going to come out and join in a little golf?
No.
At least you got your mind made up.
There is no golf in a pennant race.
Ah, I see. I see.
No golf in a pennant race.
Hadn't seen that one.
Carter has a sac fly and 2 walks. Gets underneath this one. Ahmed is out underneath it. Whoa, center fielder Inciarte called him off the last second, and he ducked out of the way. No runs, no hits, a man left. We move to the 8th inning, 4-1 Astros. For our call to the bullpen, brought to you by AT&T. Ash, it's Pat Neshek.
The guy who keeps fulfilling that role very well. The setup role, 45 games with a 3 earning. And the whip under 1, well under the opponent's batting average at 190. Touched up recently, but on the whole, he's done a great job.
Colin McHugh in 7 innings allowed the D-backs 8 hits and 1 run. There's Colby Rasmus taking over in left field for Evan Gattis, who was 1 for 4 with a homer. McHugh threw 72 strikes in his 100 pitches. He had 24 of 29 first pitch strikes, 16 in a row. Goldschmidt looks at strike 1 from Neshek.
My take is a really sharp outing for Colin, and he never had that period of time where he completely lost the strike zone, like so often can happen.
Got some big outs with men on base. Neshek throws a ball, and it's 1-1. So Pat had a rough outing, giving up back-to-back homers to the first 2 men he faced Friday night. That tagged him with his 2nd loss of the year. Castillo and Lamb both took him deep, and Arizona won it 6-4 in the 10th. But he's the type of guy who has rebounded many times from outings like that. 2 balls and a strike. That's a tough one, though, for a relief pitcher. He gets strike 2, but a lot of relievers would tell you, hey, I'd rather be out there again as soon as possible after a rough outing than be a starting pitcher and have to wait 4 days.
Get back on the horse and have some success. That's what you need. Otherwise, you dwell on it.
Yeah. It's 3-2. We got a question on Twitter. Our question was too easy for a lot of folks on Twitter. Larry Durker was the answer. So I think a lot of the fans are bored today, and they have a question for us. Which Astros hitter looked like he had a cramp in his neck when he batted? Goldschmidt strikes out. Julia Morales.
Hey, guys.
She was an Astros hitter.
Yeah, she was.
Ding, ding, ding. I have the Geico quote of the day. The skipper on the rumors of a 6-man rotation. If we start 6 different guys in a row, it doesn't mean it's a 6-man rotation. We'll have a rotation for every series, and I'll announce it. Whether those are consistently 6 names in a row, that's why I don't call it a 6-man rotation. Fire's moving into the rotation, guys. We'll see him Tuesday, but it'll be interesting to see how A.J. Hinch works things over the next few weeks with all those off days. An extra day of rest is good for these guys, especially at this time of the year, and Colin saying that the fluidity of everything's not going to have any kind of negative impact on these guys. They're all pros. They'll all be ready when it's their turn to take the ball.
Thanks, Julia. Peralta was strike 1. He's 1 for 3. Back to our question.
I know the answer to that one.
Is he the guy who used to refer himself
Chooch?
to... Well, who was Chooch?
Oh, you go ahead. I thought you were going to say Chooch. I was going to chime in with you.
Well, my answer to that question is Jay Alou.
Oh, yeah, Chooch Alou.
That was his nickname.
Yeah,
Chooch?
that was what all the guys called him. So,
okay, I didn't
yeah.
know that. Struck him out on that changeup. And Neshek has 2 quick punch outs.
Yeah, it's got to be Jesus Alou, no question about it. There's the changeup. Starting to see that grip more and more with guys. It's become very popular. The splitter the other way, a lot of guys will throw it.
Neshek back off the mound before facing Castillo, who is 2 for 3. I was told that Jay Alou used to refer to himself as the Jay Alou.
Well, he may have. Before the other Jay Alou did it, I guess.
Yeah, he used to get out of the box and crane his neck, roll it around to the side.
Yep. It's funny when you said that question, and I don't even think it's true on this guy, but I was thinking of Ron Say, who was not an Astro. I get that. But that's who came to mind, and then all of a sudden I saw Chooch or Jay Alou.
Gomez back into center field. Out number 3. 2 up in the bottom of the 8th inning. The 8-9-1 hitters, Castro, Rusnick, Altuve. The Astros lead it 4-1. the possible 6-man rotation, but the manager says it's not a rotation. What do you think of that 6-sum, Ash?
I think the answer to what it is a rotational answer. So, yeah, Lance McCullers gets that start in Arlington. And then what happens with Lance? Arm protection, we're not really sure right now, but that's a good-looking bunch. Love what Scott Kazmir has brought to the rotation, or whatever it's called, since he has joined the team.
Mark Fiers is slotted in with an extra day of rest. He'll be going Tuesday.
You know, as I look at those numbers on Fiers, I keep in mind that came with half of his games in Milwaukee. That's a very hitter-friendly park.
We don't know what kind of defensive club he had there, but he is ready to go in a Houston uniform. And he's been pushed back an extra day by the skipper, A.J. Hinch, because A, he had to travel to get here, relocate, and get moved to Houston, and B, just the whole reacclimation process, moving to a different team. He wanted him to throw a bullpen with pitching coach Brent Strom watching.
You know, I think C might be thrown in there. It's hard to figure out where to break into this rotation that's pitching so well.
Strami talking with AJ as Oliver Perez comes in 45 games. The veteran lefty's 2-1. His ERA is 3.28. 16-game scoreless streak for Perez. And it's Castro who is 2 for 3 batting. Perez about to turn 34 in a couple of weeks. He's a funky left-hander. There's strike one.
Is there another kind?
Not really. Perez pitched 68 times for Arizona last year. He was signed originally by the Padres in '99. He gets a strike, and it's 0-2. You might remember him as a Pirate.
Absolutely.
And he was a Met and a Mariner.
There was a time when I thought he had a load of arsenal that was among the best going of left-handers.
He had some really good games as a starter. He gets a strikeout.
See Louis Tiant just enter the fray there.
Yeah, he can create some angles with that body twist, turning the trunk of his body. You know, it was fun to watch Johnny Cueto pitch the other night. He can do that.
You dropped that on some hitters?
Yep, he did. Jake Marisnick is 0 for 3, 3 punch-outs. He made a great catch in this game earlier. Oliver Perez is from Mexico. He was 15-10 with the Mets in '07. Back in '04 with Pittsburgh, he was 12-10 with a 2.98 ERA. He had in that season, '04, 239 strikeouts in 196 innings. Brings the breaking pitch in for a strike call. It's 1-1. The Rangers are shutting out the Giants 2-0 in the bottom of the 7th inning with a gem underway for Martin Perez. 1 hit through 7. 2-0, and that'll kind of be the could be the last stand for the Rangers, you might think, in their minds. Tomorrow night, right, when the Astros come in.
And let's put it this way: if the Astros go in there and do business on the Rangers are going to be out of it at that point.
2-2. Rangers are currently 8 games back, and they will be loaded for bear tomorrow night, especially the way Colby Lewis usually pitches against the Astros. Josh Hamilton hit his 5th home run today, and it came off Mike Leake. Leake, though, pitching well in his first start as a Giant, 6 1/3 innings, 2 earned runs allowed. Marisnick gets underneath it. Second baseman Pennington over. 2 outs.
This moment in history is brought to you by MD Anderson. 30 years ago today, Luis Salazar, Ozzie Guillen, and Carlton Fisk combined on an unusual 8-6-2-2 double play off a Ricky Henderson double into the gap at Yankee Stadium. Bobby Meacham and Dale Barrow were the unwitting victims. The double play preserved a 3-3 tie in a game the White Sox would go on to win 6-5. Yeah, you'd have to say you don't see this very often.
Wow. Keep them coming.
I'd like to see the third base coach on that one waving him home.
Oh, boy. He probably did not go back to the clubhouse after that game. Jose Altuve has 2 hits, and he was hit by a pitch. There's strike 1.
I would have guessed there was a stop sign that was run through.
Well, how about Mark Teixeira lighting up his third base coach a few nights ago for getting him thrown out of the plate?
That's not good.
No, he just hung him out to dry. 0-2.
Yeah, I can't see doing that.
Angels nothing, Dodgers nothing. Middle of the third at Dodger Stadium. Altuve's down on strikes, and we go to the 9th inning. The closer's been warming up. Luke Gregerson for the Astros. They lead it 4-1. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. And by HEB. No store does more than my HEB. Glad to have you with us on Root Sports. Ash Dallas Martz and his daughters are driving down from Iowa for Tuesday night's game. It's 4-1 Astros here. Leave the clubs at home and go, he says.
Leave the clubs?
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
It's been a race time, pal.
Make sure you drive safe, but reconsider the clubs thing.
Luke Gregerson comes in, 4-1 Astros. A safe situation. He is 21 for 24.
And he, like so many closers that had to work a game a few nights ago where it wasn't a safe situation, saw things try to get away from him. But when he's been closing out games, it's been dynamite.
He pitched 3 games in a row on this homestand, the final 2 games of the Angels series, winning the 3-0 ball game on the walk-off by Jason Castro, and then he worked a scoreless inning in the extra inning affair here Friday night. Jake Lamb, the batter. Strike 1 for Gregerson. Lamb is 1 for 3. He drove in the Arizona run with a double in the 2nd inning, and then things began to turn. Great catch by Marisnik on Hill. Lamb picked off second, and they have not scored since then. 1 ball, 1 strike. Pat Neshek worked a spotless 8th with 2 punch outs. Neshek getting another hold is 24. Colin McHugh's 13th win is on the line. It's 2 balls and a strike. Trying to join Dallas Keuchel, who got number 13 last night. 2 13-game winners. Tied for the AL lead. Line shot, left field line, and that one is bouncing off the wall. Rasmus will not be able to pick it up cleanly. It's a double either way. And that 13th win is certainly on the line here for Colin McHugh as Lamb starts it off with an opposite field double.
Pretty impressive looking young hitter. Watched him sting the ball both directions. There's just no getting to this ball, and didn't matter one bit that Colby Rasmus was unable to come up with it cleanly.
Aaron Hill's the batter. He doubled to left in the 7th inning. He's 1 for 6 with 3 strikeouts against Gregerson. He's 1 for 3 today. Marisnick is moving in a few steps in right field. He came in to catch Hill's line drive in the 2nd inning. There's strike 1 with Pennington on deck. Washington and the Mets play tonight. Big game in New York. The Mets have a shot at tying for the NL East lead. Atlanta beat the Phillies today 6-2, and Tampa Bay shaded Boston 4-3. Ground ball tapped to the left side. Correa. 1 out.
I don't know if Jed Lowry could have gotten to this ball or not, but he made a ultimately wise choice in backing off and letting Correa make the play. See a lot of third basemen cut in front and make that play. Of course, when you're talking about Jed Lowry, you're talking about a guy not accustomed to third, more accustomed to shortstop. But watch as the ground ball goes by Jed. He just kind of backs off. I've got a player there that can make that play.
Yes. That's important for the third baseman to know the shortstop's range. Cliff Pennington has a walk and a double in 3 trips. I think of Josh Donaldson as a third baseman, goes for about anything he can get, and a lot of third basemen have that mentality. No problem with cutting in front of the shortstop.
And though it can be impressive at times, it also can cause problems.
Two 2-0. Jed is getting a chance to settle in a little bit at third base. He has not had a lot of balls hit to him. It's cranked on a line. Marisnick there for the catch. Hard hit out number 2 by Pennington.
Stay tuned after the game as Kevin Eschenfelder and Art Howe break down all the action from today's game. Plus interviews from the clubhouse and much more. That's on the Astros postgame show, presented by Houston Methodist.
Nick Ahmed is 2 for 3. This crowd, another outstanding one. Oh, these crowds are growing, and they are enthusiastic as the season progresses. They want to see the final out to a 5-1 homestand. The appeal goes to first. Check swing call goes Arizona's way. Ball 1 on Ahmed. The Astros began the homestand before Tuesday night, trailing the Angels by 1. They now lead them by 3. Getting ready for a 3-city road trip. It's been a big week. A sweep of the Angels. A lot of late heroics. It's 2-0. Gregerson came in Friday night. The game was tied 4-4 in the ninth, and he worked a scoreless frame. His 21 saves are the most by an Astros since Matt Lindstrom had 23 in 2010. In for a strike. 2-1 to Ahmed. Giants are batting in the top of the eighth, trailing 2-0.
Well within the strike zone. And then Ahmed, like many hitters, turns and says, "Is that a strike?" Yeah, that's why I called it one.
Ground ball, Correa in. And the throw to end it. The Astros win another home series. The Hinch family loves that one. Win number 60 of the season. Last year, the 60th win for the Astros came in game number 139, September 2nd. They are now 38-18 at home. They'll be departing on this road trip, but they'll do so with some fond memories of some outstanding baseball. They take 2 of 3 from Arizona while winning the rubber game 4-1.